Hello. It's day 2 of month 12. I didn't even mean to do that. I meant to make my check-in video yesterday before my show. But yeah, day 2, month 12, 212, woo! So I did it. I mean, I know it's not done yet, but I have an album that I could release in like a couple days that we were already working on for month 11. And then a few different people involved needed a little bit more time, so I released the December 2015 one instead, and so now I have that album, the Friendship Volume 47, pretty much ready to go, so I know I made it. Yay! I know it's not done yet, but I made it. Like, in my heart, I know I made it, so that's good. It's a very freeing feeling. I might release like a bunch of things this month just for fun, because clearly this is my idea of fun. I like being prolific. I think it's fun. I'm not being prolific to impress you or even maybe to inspire you. I'm being prolific, I think, because I just can't stop the flow of ideas that are coming in, and I just really enjoy it. And for me, it's more enjoyable to keep up with the ideas than it is to hold on to them and kind of stall out on them. Hello! Because then they just get backed up, and then either the ideas stop coming or they start to feel like chores being assigned to me by what previously seemed like something fun. Inspiration shifts. If I hold on to an idea for more than a few months or a year or whatever, then it shifts into feeling more like a job. And then if you back up too many ideas, it shifts into feeling impossible, and then that's not fun either. So yeah, I just feel very inspired being alive. I feel very inspired all the time. I know I can't keep up with my ideas, and that's okay. That doesn't really bother me anymore. I just try to do the ones that resonate the most. I guess it's appropriate to say part 2 of day 2 of month 12. But I forgot to delete things off my phone before I started, and I had just made like a 30-minute long practice video when I was doing a last run through before last night's show. So whoops, had that on here still. Not that I watch any of these, like pretty much if I don't release it I never watch it. I kind of only that's a strange thing to say. Dang it, well I'll just say it. I kind of only watch things like, I don't know, it's like once I share something, then I sometimes watch it to see what somebody else saw, if that makes sense. Like, for me, this is all just kind of, I don't know, noise, vibration in my skin. It doesn't feel differentiable from one thing to another. But then, say I shared that practice recording on YouTube, and one of my piano students watched it and said they liked a certain thing, I might go back and watch it and see what they saw in it. Just a curiosity. I don't know. I think maybe I'm a really new soul, or like a really, really old soul, or I have no idea. Like, it just, the whole world feels fresh and weird to me, and so sometimes having those points of reference is helpful to kind of understand modern culture, or understand myself, or understand the people around me. Yeah. So I don't remember what I was saying. Something about, what albums I'm doing this month. Okay. So I'm doing the Friendship album. Oh, I know. I was making a point about how I don't care that if I plan to do 3 or 4 this month, but then I only end up doing 1, like, that's fine with me. Because I'm not planning. It's not like a plan, like I want to be impressive, because that doesn't do anything for me. If anything, you know, I worked on skill sets so young in life, and won little competitions for piano in my hometown, or things like that, you know, got little scholarships or stuff that kind of boosted me up and made me feel special. And that actually just kind of harmed me, because then I would sense that it was annoying to people sometimes. Like, no one wants to be around a person who is getting all the praise, I guess. I don't know. That sounds arrogant, but I don't mean it like that. I mean like the opposite. Like, it actually just gave me a pretty uncomfortable life and a pretty unhealthy relationship with success. It made me think that it was either you're successful and have no friends, or you have friends and you have to hide all the skills that you spent your time in life acquiring that you used to enjoy, but you're trying to like I have a whole album where I purposely played really like basic sounding piano, which is what's more trendy and cool, and sometimes I often love listening to that in others, and there's tons of people who have skill sets that I don't have at all, like almost anything technological, and a million other instruments that I can't play, and it's like, but on piano I'm very trained, and there's tons of piano players better than me, but it's like I couldn't put myself in the appropriate place. Like I saw it as like I was annoying people just by being good at piano, and so I would try to downplay how much I knew. But like I was a music theory TA by the time I was 19 at a music conservatory, and like, you know, got into a hard music conservatory on piano for piano performance to get a Bachelor of Music. I kind of downgraded once I was there just because I was trying to do songwriting, but see, then that's not that interesting a story. But I do think it's an interesting and very human story to think about, you know, and I've seen it in some of my piano students and songwriting students, and especially the ones who can sing and have like a beautiful voice. I've seen hierarchies within families where, you know, there's just envy. Envy crops up when one is getting more of the attention or praise. And so some kids' way of dealing with that is to ignore it and just be like, and then they just keep doing it. They keep being themselves. And other kids' ways of dealing with it is to like, you know, put themselves under a bowl and kind of minimize things that would create those types of tension. So anyway, blah. Well, I mean, I guess that's the point of these, but my hands are getting cold. I forgot to wear gloves. I think I have them in my bag too. Yeah, this is really beautiful. And I took a nature video of some birds. Ooh, I could insert it here. Okay, Jess. Insert video of birds flying here. Go. Okay. I guess I have to edit this one at home. I mean, I already kind of had to because of the first part. I don't know what else I was going to say. Oh yeah, the albums that I'm maybe going to do. There was an album that I made up 7 songs on day 104 of the 365 days challenge back in 2017. But the 7 songs that I made on day 104, which was like May 20 something, I almost released as album 2 this year. I was on my way back from a concert. I think it was maybe Amy Mann. No, Amy Mann would have been before that. I don't know who it was, but I went to go see somebody play, and I was like, this is a whole album. I need to take these 7 songs written on this one day, even though it was on my junky $79 recorder, and I need to just call it an album. Itchy. Oh yeah, I touched a dog. Oh well. Anyway. But then when May came, I was already working on the friendship. And then when the computer crashed, it's a long thing, but basically, and then I had Hunter he improvised cello on one of these 7 songs, and then I got this idea in my head, like I had to have him improvise cello on all the other 6 of them. And now he's in Malaysia for a year, and like I could have just not had him it's a long story, but like when he comes over, we just make stuff up, and then that was, I guess, what am I trying to say? Sometimes there's like these senses that I have about flow, like how things flow. And when Hunter was about to, when we were picking a song for him to improvise on, I had this sense that it shouldn't be that one. And I think I ignored it because I thought it would sound good with cello. So I ignored my sense. And I was like, you know what? No, this one will sound really good with cello. Let's just do it. And what's weird about that is, like, had I listened to that, then those 7 songs back in May would have been a cohesive sounding, all piano vocal thing, and I probably would have just released that. And then I would have bought myself some time to do the friendships differently, and they wouldn't be broken up all over the 12 months, which led to other cool, fun, weird things of, like, having Maddie do one cover and Ryan do another cover and me do one cover, and it's cool. Like, everything creates everything, so I don't mind weird tangents and misdirections and redirections and like quantum physics. Like I can't understand it. Like there'd be an infinite number of timelines based on what word I say next and next and next. Like everything can lead like a seed to one thing to another thing. Like it would hurt your brain if you tried to understand all of it. So like I usually just don't try. Obviously I don't understand it, but also I don't even try. Like I don't want to pretend to understand all that. So, but my point is, I had that sense. Like it's like we have a compass inside of us. And so I look at feelings as a compass, and like my own internal radar, it just kind of tells me things. And you have one, and everyone has one, I think. And they're kind of like discouraged out of us when we're kids, I think. Oops, sorry. I'm really wrestling with how cold my hands are. Okay. I got this. Yeah, so we all have it. And, you know, every time I listen to it, I get some like little reward, but not like a reward like a piece of candy or a cookie, you know, like a spirit cookie or a heart cookie, like not like that. But it is kind of like that. Like something will align in a way every time I listen to something like that. Sometimes in such a minute way that it'll be like only I would appreciate it, but sometimes in like big ways where other people are like, whoa, like how did such and such work out? And it'll be like a series that I can chart. You can remember them because they were moments where like you had a fear, but you knew the right thing to do was X, and then you had a fear again, and then here's Y, and then Z, and then those three things back to back led to ta-da! And that thing, people are like, how did that come about? And it'll be like a series of 3 coincidences maybe, or just little moments where you just trusted your gut or your heart or what you really wanted for your life. And I don't know, it's a profound process. It's changed my life. I've been doing it for years now, and I love it. So anyway, so the reason my 12 albums look so chaotic, and probably the reason my life and my sentences look so chaotic, is because I'm constantly listening, trying to listen for that alignment, and then getting off, and then listening, getting off, you know. And so that moment and that's usually where most of my learning comes from. So that moment with Hunter was a good learning lesson, and just because something's great doesn't mean you need that great thing on all things. And so if my alignment said don't put it on that song, I don't have to know why. But, you know, 1 week later, he left for some, I don't know, I think he went to Uganda at that time. He's doing all kinds of interesting studies, and anyway, he's in New York now. No, Malaysia now. Was New York, whatever. Anyway, but, you know, and then I didn't release the album that I think would have been meaningful to me to release in May. So I might put that one out this month, and I might just leave cello on one of them, and that kind of takes a lo-fi project off my plate that I had actually 2 months ago said, oh, well, why don't I do more lo-fi albums after this challenge is over? And then I started slating those ones, and I was like, oh, like I will if I feel inspired, but it's also like, if I already know what it is now, I could just put it up. So, I don't know. I feel like my expectations of what a lo-fi album can be have changed. Like, I don't think anyone's going to call in for these ones on the radio. I think they only attract a very certain crowd, although they are my people. Like, freak folk, freaks. Like, I didn't even know I was a freak because I was trying to be a good girl and, like, do everything the right way. But, like, doodling on my face for my show last night and, like, just, like, being whatever I actually am is kind of life-changing. And it really helps me with social anxiety, with performance anxiety, with just being what I'm trying to be. And not even trying. Trying's the wrong word. I hate the word trying. I hate the sound of trying. I hate almost everything about trying. Trying to bring to light what actually feels like who I am inside, like when no one's watching. That's what it is. And so, yeah. And mine, whatever it is, when I let it out, is a little bit like in the freak folk category, and I never thought I was. I was always like, I'm too square and weird, or square and like dorky weird, but not like weird, cool weird. Like I don't know. Maybe we don't see ourselves the other ways other people see us. Or maybe I probably am just a dork. I don't know. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Everybody thinks different things. It's all fake. I'm sorry. Okay, so yeah. So I might release that album. Okay, I gotta switch sides. It's getting cold. Let's go for another view. There's a path in the woods. I'm on a bayou. Well, it's sort of a bayou. I just laughed because our friend TRA, well, okay, that's a long story and that's not my story to tell, so I'll leave it at that. But they were writing a song with us, and yeah. And then our friend Josie joined in on harmonica, and then it turned into a bayou song. And bayous normally make me think about like down south, but like this little swampy area, you know, like this is all water. And this is like a wooden dock platform over it. Yeah. So technically a bayou, we just don't totally use that word. What do we call that up here? Marshland? I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, Michigan facts from a person who's not paying attention to facts. Or something I was saying. Oh yeah. Time in the Sky. That's day 104. The Friendship, volume 47, which is also 365 days, volume 6, I think. And these numbers do all mean something to me. I just don't explain anywhere else what they mean because they would involve so much backstory and context that it's like, I mean, ask me anytime and I'll tell you what they all mean, but I don't assume it would be interesting to anyone but me, whereas to me it's like super interesting and like deeply moving. So I'm just like, I'll just make my titles what they really feel like they should be, and if that means something to you or you want to ask or you have weird connections with numbers like I do, then go for it. Okay, that was 2. Oh, and then someone, same person, TRA or Travi, was wanting to do a collaboration with me since pretty much the beginning of this 12 months. So I might try to squeeze something like that in. Maybe a different time. What else? There was more. Oh, and then there's the album I was really going to do this month, which is called Strange Beginnings, 365 Days, Volume 1. And so a lot of my life has been going backwards. Okay, I gotta switch hands again. Oof, so cold. There's a concept that I had never really heard before until pretty recently. It was in a song about a life going in reverse and making more sense in reverse. And when I heard that concept, I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense. Like Dr. Seuss, I guess was like an author, but he wasn't like very popular, although I don't even believe in popularity, so this is like a folk story that I maybe don't even support, but I'll still tell it. Something along the lines of how he wasn't very popular, but he was an adult writer, but then when he started writing for kids as Dr. Seuss, you know, he became wildly famous, and for me that was kind of a compass for a while. It's like a reverse T.S. Eliot, because I love T.S. Eliot, but then also cats. Anyway, long stories. But my point is, where was I going with that? In reverse. So maybe his life made more sense in reverse, where you could see all the different ways that maybe the way he spoke didn't resonate as much as an adult. Maybe he came off really moralistic. Who knows? I know I do. I think I come off as like wholesome in a way that people don't understand. So maybe I have made a kids album. I tried actually in month 8. It's just not very good. It would need a lot of edits, but I'm thinking of releasing a couple of the songs. I already have the Bandcamp all set up and an Instagram. It's called Dreambird, but that's my character, but also there's a whole world. And I haven't decided, am I naming it by my character or am I naming it by the world? And I don't know. It's a lot. But I did sew stuffed animals for my nieces and nephews. So they each have a character that's kind of like inspired by them. Not really like them, just inspired by them or dedicated to them. And yeah. I'll finish that someday. Maybe. Who knows? I don't really know. We don't really know how many days we get. Or what kind of inspiration we're going to want or have in our time, or what our life's going to be like, or financial situations or living situations or anything. And I know a lot of my ability to be creative comes from having a pretty stable living situation, both with my very, very, very tender-hearted boyfriend. Sorry if I made an awkward face. That's not for you, Brian. I just suddenly realized I hadn't been breathing for about 12 minutes straight. Yeah, for real. But yeah, he's a very grounding human. I get very frantic and excited about life, and see, I just gave myself tears. It's very helpful for me too. And I'm looking around because it's really awkward. I've been doing this so long, for like almost 2 years now. Like, I'm fine with people walking by, but it just is awkward. But I still like doing them in nature in public sometimes. Anyway, Brian's very grounding. I love him very much. And he's working very hard lately on learning the ins and outs of like music production stuff. That's his story. Anyway, I don't like to tell other people's stories because when you turn somebody else's story into a soundbite, then it's lasting and it's in time. And I feel like other people will color their stories with more beauty than I would. I don't know. Maybe because I don't see myself really as a storyteller. I think I'm a storyteller of my own life. But it's kind of like why when I was working on musical theater stuff, the songs came easily, but the book writing was a little more difficult because to really get in the minds of each character and make them distinct and unique from each other and use concise language, well, right there I was lost. Concise language. Anyway, I'm losing my train of thought more than usual. I hope it's because I'm cold, but it might just be because I'm excited and excitable. I had some epiphanies yesterday that felt really great. I'm finally comfortable on stage again. I know it's from putting all kinds of stuff all over my face. I wish I had made that check-in video yesterday. I felt inspired to, and then I missed that inspiration window, and, you know, now it's not that day. And that probably would have been more meaningful said while not cold and with makeup on my face and with nerves for a show. But maybe I'll tell you about it later, but not right now because I'm cold. And that's just not what I feel like talking about. That's what these are. Whatever I feel like talking about. I feel like there was something. Oh, just all the albums. Okay, oh yeah, so the one that I meant to do for this month, I'm still going to do, even though the Friendship is pretty much ready to release. I'll maybe release that one, like mid-month, and then the official one, like at the end of March. And the official one is called Strange Beginnings because of this concept of a life being understood in reverse. And I've spent so much of my life I couldn't have even called myself a misfit before, because I think even saying you're a misfit felt like you were part of something, felt like you were in a club, felt like a cool club, like, oh, the Misfits, woo, we're in a club, we're the Misfits. Like, I didn't even feel that. I just felt wrong. I felt broken, and I felt useless, and I felt like my insides were one thing, like I was wired for one thing, like this, or like, you know, releasing bajillions of albums, and then who I was actually being was this whole other person. And this is not that long ago that I felt like that. So, you know, things that I felt like should have been coming easily were not coming easily at all, and were very difficult for me emotionally to bring out and into the world. And so, hello. Well, there's a microcosm right there for you of what it feels like to be an introvert in a world full of wonderfully lovely human beings. Like, I want to also talk to them, and he seemed very sweet, and he had a walking stick, and he was friendly. But I was also in a headspace that was very serious, but in that moment, that wasn't the appropriate thing to give him, so I was in my serious place, and then I smiled and said hello, and then I went back, and now it's mixed, and that is, for me, that's kind of a microcosm of what it's like to be an introvert. You're like in your head, it's like a train of thought, or a world of thought, or a whole fantasy, or a whole just everything is in your head, or in your whole being, in my feelings. Like, I'm always in my insides, and that's where I sort everything out, and then to get out of that is a very conscious, it's actually a very positive thing for me. I really love people, like, more than I can even understand. And I love helping people put on shows, and I love having people at our house, and I love collaborating with people, like, and I message them with way more words than they probably are comfortable with. Like, and I respond quickly, like, I love people. But it's, and I, you know, have 6-hour coffee dates with people, and we just talk. And, well, not very many people do 6 hours, but anyway, my point is, that doesn't mean I'm not an introvert. Introversion, I think, has more to do with how you process experience and emotion. Oh, here's a cute dog. You want me in my video, cute dog? Oh my gosh, lots of cute dogs. Hey guys. Hello. Okay, I'm gonna stop it. Well, it is really cold and I meant to kind of enjoy nature, and instead I'm just standing here in the cold trying to let you enjoy nature, but I should probably just enjoy nature now because I don't even know if this is enjoyable for you either. All right. Hope you have a lovely day. Happy month 12. Oh, I'm probably, well, no, I'm not announcing that now. I'm way too cold. Okay, bye. Bring you back here in the spring so you can hear all the frogs. It's ice. Ice, baby. Ice, baby. Okay, bye.